let's continue with hand number C-19 today, and after that I will take a breath of fresh air. It's finally acceptable spring weather here in Germany where I live. Okay, so we had the 5 diamond contracts. Opponents didn't bid. I'm not going to analyze every detail of the bidding so far. So I'm pretty sure we will just lose the first 2 hard tricks. Did the opponent? No, the opponents didn't bid. I already said that. So what could this hand possibly be about? Because yes, I'm seeing 2 hard losers. And counting from South's perspective, I also see 2 potential club losers, but they can easily disappear under the ace king of spades. So there must be a sting in the tail to this. Because I'm now just thinking, yeah, lose 2 hard tricks, trump ruff the 3rd hard high presumably, so we don't get overruffed. And then maybe cross to the king queen of diamonds, maybe take the queen with the ace in order to get back to hand in time, or we could even use clubs to come back to hand, I guess. So play the king queen of diamonds, play the 6 of clubs, take it, draw the remaining trumps, cross to the ace of clubs and play the ace king of spades and pitch 2 clubs under the spades. There must be something about this strategy not working, since this would be a level 1 or at most a level 2 hand. Definitely not a level 5 hand with that strategy. Could it be that one of the opponents is void in clubs, maybe? There are no clues in the bidding whatsoever. I'm pretty sure the hearts won't split, so I'm pretty sure that at the latest after 2 rounds of hearts, we will be out of hearts, but so will be one of the opponents. But I'm not seeing the problem with that, since we can ruff high, since we do have all the high trumps, including the 9. So it's easy to part with one of them. Maybe West has like a singleton heart and also a singleton club or something. And maybe 4 diamonds. I mean, it has to be a rather extreme distribution in order for us to even have a chance of failing this. Yeah, I mean, I have to follow the suit, and I don't really think there's a point in dodging the queen. I mean, that is sort of an interesting strategy in a real bridge game, psychologically, to pitch the queen right here. So the opponents are of the impression that you may have a singleton. But it's not going to fly in Witchmaster hands. Rightfully so. This is pure psychology and no science whatsoever behind it. Yeah, I will just play the 6. I don't see. Okay. Another round of hearts, right? And then comes another heart, like I expected, right from the Get go now. Of course I need to rough this and I need to rough this high, I think. Because I'm pretty afraid of rest. Roughing, respectively over roughing me. Yeah, there goes a spade from west, so our fears were justified. I at least want to cross to the king of diamonds and see if a 5-0 distribution in diamonds applies, maybe. Although I don't really see the problem in that case either, to be honest. No, there is a problem if we have a 5-0, since we need to come back to hand somehow. Maybe we can rough a low spade in hand? Not really. Sure, yeah, a 5-0 distribution could be unpleasant. But to have any chance in case of a 5-0, I need to catch the king and queen separately. Can't overtake the king with the ace or something like that, or I give the opponent with the 5 trumps a sure trump trick. So I have to cross. Yeah, East has all 5. And East also started with 5 hearts, which is pretty interesting. So East is very short in the black suits. Now we really need to start thinking, because I can't just draw trumps by overtaking the queen with the ace, because that would give East a sure trump trick. Remember, East still has 4 more diamonds left. And I could draw trumps with the queen right now. But then I somehow need to get back to hand. And I can't rough something since I need my trumps to draw East's trumps. So roughing either a spade or a heart just doesn't cut it. And if I cross back in clubs, I can do that. The problem just being that I then block myself in the club suit, basically. So I think what this amounts to is a squeeze against West, since East is very short in both black suits, so I think he is 2-1 in the black suits, either way. Meaning West is the one who needs to guard both clubs and spades somehow. Which could be an interesting proposition. If I now draw the trumps and cross back with like the 6 of clubs to my hand to draw all of the East's remaining trumps, because I need to draw East's trumps. Either that or I need to force East to rough at some point. So I can cross back to hand by means of an overruff. But I can't really, since East has 2 hearts left in hand. And I can't ever really avoid him just pitching those, I guess. He doesn't need to rough, unfortunately. So let's see, what I'm now thinking about is drawing East trump, crossing to the king of clubs, keeping the ace in dummy, because in some lines to cash the spades I need dummy entries. And then just to draw East trumps. And now West would need to come down to 4 cards. Since I will be remaining with only 4 clubs after drawing trumps. So West must also keep 4 cards. Yes, and he can't guard both clubs and spades, I think. Yeah. Because, so what I will do now is I will keep the ace, king, 5, 4 of spades as well as the ace of clubs in dummy. And then when I draw the last trump from south, I think West might be squeezed, because West either has to come down to a singleton club, in which case I throw away the ace of clubs from dummy, and I just catch out of my clubs in hand, basically. Since East surely doesn't stop the clubs. In the third round, I think East started with 2 or 1 club. So I can just pitch the ace and cash my remaining tricks and clubs in case West comes down to a singleton. And in case West comes down to 2 clubs, or West keeps 2 clubs rather, he also needs to keep he also can only keep 2 spades in hand, in which case I pitch the spade from dummy, switch to the ace of clubs. Use the blocked ace of clubs as an entry, basically. And then I can collect the remaining tricks in spades, yeah. So on the last trump, which card I discard from dummy, whether I discard a spade or the ace of clubs, should depend on what West discards on that trick, and fortunately West is the one who needs to make a decision first. I can pretty much... Should I draw maybe 1 high spade first? I don't think it can really hurt. It would lose if East is void in spades, but that would also imply that East started with 3 clubs, in which case I think we would lose anyway, since East stops the club suit. So that risk is completely takeable. Yeah, we need to first draw 1 trump, and we can't overtake this. So I think it doesn't really matter if I draw 1 round of spades now, or I do the clubs immediately. If East can ruff this round of spades, we lose, but no, we don't. We can overruff. That's totally safe. I actually think we could even afford a second round of spades, but I'm a bit afraid of East voiding himself in clubs. So not ruffing, because we would overruff, that would be... Yeah, that would be a problem, since we need the king of spades in dummy, no. So 1 round of spades is okay, but 2 rounds rather not. I think we need to switch to the 6 of clubs now, and switch back to hand. Yes, East follows suit, alright. Since East followed 1 round of spades and 1 round of clubs, he can only have 1 black card remaining in his hand, because we know he has 3 diamonds and we know he has 2 hearts left. So I think at this point our contract is secure. We draw East's remaining 3 trumps now. And on the last trump we need to look out for what West discards. So West already discarded, I think, 2 spades, and we play the spade. And 1 club, and we also play the club. So West started with... Well, we don't know how many spades or clubs he started with, unfortunately. Since we don't know if East's remaining black card is a spade or a club. But I don't really think that matters. I will just watch out for whatever West discards on our last trump. So I think now West is in a squeeze. If he discards a spade, I discard a spade as well. And if he discards a club, I discard a club as well. Which is rather counterintuitive. Normally in squeezes, you discard the other suit, but in this particular squeeze, it's all about entries and which suit we are going to play on. And we need to discard from that suit in order to avoid the block or to have an entry. So this is all about entries. There goes a club, so I discard a club as well. And now I think that my clubs, starting with the queen, might be good. No, they're not. Okay, so should I have drawn a second round of spades actually? I was thinking about that because I needed something to figure out. I mean, this is more delicate than I thought it was. Sorry, but I need to really figure out what East's last remaining black card actually is. So I think the king of spades is correct. And I'm pretty sure West didn't start with a 7-card spade suit. Meaning, if East were singleton in spades, that would mean West started with 7 spades, and I think he would have bid, yeah. Yeah, West came before North, that's the key. So if West started with a 7-card spade suit with Queen Jack 10 or something, I think he would have bid 3 spades potentially. Or 2 spades if the suit were bad. But in either case, I'm pretty sure East has a doubleton and not a singleton spade. So then drawing the ace king of spades is actually correct. Because that gives me a complete count on West's hand. I didn't have a complete count in my first try. Yeah. Because I didn't know what East's remaining black card actually was. This is actually a very delicate detail that I didn't pay enough attention to. I'm terribly sorry. So, yeah, West has discarded 2 spades now. And now I will just draw the ace king of spades. Yeah, East follows spades twice. So now I know East started with 2. Meaning I know West started with 6 spades. And West has played 4 of them already, so he has 2 spades in hand and 4 clubs. And now I switch to the clubs. Yes, East follows. That's good. That's, of course, I couldn't make the contract if East were avoiding clubs. I think that's impossible. So now I will draw East's remaining trumps. And now I have a complete count on West's hand. At this point, West has 2 spades and 3 clubs left. 2 spades and 2 clubs. one spade and two clubs. And on this last diamond he is squeezed. And he will pitch a club. So now he has one spade and a club left. And I can just pitch my club and continue the clubs. Oh, I miscounted again. What's going on? Am I so dumb? I didn't count the discards correctly, did I? The West discards a spade. Yeah, already. I didn't account for this spade, I'm sure. So, one spade is gone. Switch to dummy. Three spades are gone from West now. And East started with 2, so West started with 6, meaning West has already played 5 of his 6 spades, so he has only 1 spade remaining. And 5 clubs remaining, that's important. And now when I draw the trumps, now he has 3 clubs and a spade remaining. Now he has 3 clubs remaining, but no spades. So now I can actually just catch the spades. I think all the spades are gone at this point. Yes, I completely miscounted in my first tries, which was pure carelessness. There's no other way to put it. Yeah, East wins the third 2 heart tricks, the Queen of Hearts. It's sort of an irrelevant decoy card, it doesn't accomplish anything. And the third round we need to ruff high, obviously, since an overruff from West would immediately tank the contract. Yeah, but if they are 4-1 in diamonds, there's no problem. There's absolutely no problem. We can just draw all the trumps, switch to the ace of clubs, catch the ace king of spades, discard 2 clubs on those, and we have outwicks. Outwicks are basically high from the get-go. Yeah, we can't afford to overtake the diamond. We would like to in order to have a continuous drawing of the trumps, but we can't. Since if we overtake now, we develop a trump trick in East. So now we need to find another entry back to hand, which will be in clubs, but that blocks the club suit. So, in order to make our contract after finishing drawing the trumps, then we need to rely on a squeeze against West. We can no longer just catch all the high cards. Yeah, we must. That's a very delicate, very subtle, and very important detail. Actually, we must catch both the ace and king of spades now. And the reason is not that we can't do it later, we can. When we switch to the ace of clubs, we totally can. But the reason for that is that we need to learn how East is exactly distributed in the black suits. Because we will need that information to draw conclusions about West's distribution later. So 2 rounds of spades are followed. Yeah, if East ruffs, we just overruff. There's no issue there. And now we have communication with North. Yeah, we play the last trump and West again is squeezed. Even in this case, with the communication intact. Because yes, we don't have the king of spades anymore, so. But we do have communication in clubs, which sort of balances out that fact. And we still rely on the squeeze, but it still works. We play the 10 of diamonds, and either West pitches his last spade, in which case the spades in dummy are good for the final tricks, or he abandons his club stopper, in which case the 4 clubs in our hand all become tricks. But East will just follow the second round of spades, but now that's equally good for us, but now, because now we have an exact count on the hand. Yeah, there's no chance if East is voiding clubs. That was a possibility, but there's no chance of making the contract in that case, because we must returning clubs. And now we're there. We can just draw East's trumps. And with the last drawing of the trump, we simultaneously squeeze against West. And if West, now's the interesting part, because if West now discards a spade on this crucial trick, we also discard a spade and make the final trick in spades after crossing to dummy. And if West discards a club, we also discard a club. Normally in squeezes it's the other way around, obviously, but in this particular squeeze we discard the same suit that West discards. A Jennison squeeze, not really sure what that term implies. But again, I'm very bad with terms and definitions. I just describe what is happening rather than having the correct name and the correct vocabulary in my head all the time for each situation. If West discards a club, we discard the ace of clubs. And then our 2 clubs in hand are good. And if West discards a spade, we can just switch to the ace. We can just switch to the ace of clubs. Ace of clubs and catch the spade. Yeah, I've heard that term before actually. A Jennison squeeze is a squeeze on which one of your potential discards, in this case the ace of clubs, is the blocker of a suit. Like, you are threatening to discard a winner basically, but thereby unblocking a blocked suit. And you are threatening to do that without consequence. Basically, because if West now pitches a club, we don't need the ace of clubs anymore, and we can pitch it without penalty. Because we still have 2 club tricks after that. So, the threat is not to make an extra trick, which we wouldn't have had before, but to unblock an extra trick. By pitching a card that was already a winner, but was a blocker. The ace of clubs in this case. Alright then, I will breathe some fresh air, have